Hi friends, my name is Linda. I'm 17 years old. My parents adopted me when I was a baby. I grew up in a warm, loving home, getting everything I needed. They never made me feel like I was adopted. I was never curious about my biological mother and father. I wonder if I had searched for them, would I have found out that I had a twin sister? I'm not sure, but thankfully, fate brought us together after 16 years. It was thanks to an amazing coincidence that I found out about my twin sister's existence. My parents decided to celebrate their 25th wedding anniversary with a big party. I hate wearing dresses. My mom knows this, so she said, "This celebration is really important to us. Please, no t-shirt and jeans. Get yourself a dress and be the prettiest girl at the party." I couldn't say no, but I'd never bought myself an evening dress before. I didn't even know where to shop for one. After school, I Googled it and found a store. It was pretty far from where we lived, but of course I was going to go to make my mom happy. When I walked into the store, I went up to the first salesperson I saw. "Where are your evening dresses?" I asked. When she looked at me, we both froze. Looking at her face was like looking in the mirror. The resemblance was too much. The first thing I could say was, "Are you adopted?" "Yes," she said. "Were you born on March 13th? I asked. When she nodded, I hugged her tight without even thinking. I had a sister now, a twin sister. I left the store with a dress she chose for me. I waited for her to get off work at a nearby cafe. When she arrived, she began to cry, saying, "It's a miracle. I still can't believe this." I was practically looking at myself in the mirror. Just like me, she was always sniffling as she cried. When Rosa calmed down, I asked her, "Since you're working on a school day, did you quit school?" She did. Her mom said, "You won't be going to college anyway. Start working as soon as you can, so you can contribute," she said. According to my sister, her family didn't really need the money. Her mother did this out of spite because she'd been treating Rosa like this for a long time. I got so mad as I listened to my sister's story. At the time her parents adopted Rosa, they hadn't been able to conceive. But 8 years later, her mother got pregnant and had a boy. After her son was born, she started pushing Rosa away and treating her badly. What's worse, her father tolerated this. He never took issue with what his wife did. By the way, I keep saying her mother, but Rosa always refers to her as my stepmother. This is to be expected because from what I gather, my twin sister has been living like Cinderella all these years. She had to quit high school during her freshman year. She had been working 6 days a week, and at night she had to do all the housework. When she said in passing, "Some nights I'm so tired I can't sleep," I found myself tearing up. I was getting more shocked as she was telling her story. Her mother gave her room to her son. They put her bed in the basement. Rosa had been sleeping there for years. They wouldn't even let her eat with them at the table. She had to eat by herself in the basement. I couldn't stay quiet any longer. "That's enough. First, I'll teach this woman a lesson, and then I'm going to get you out of that house," I said. Unfortunately, after being abused for years, my sister had lost all her courage. Unlike her, I'm someone who stands up for myself no matter what and doesn't walk away from a fight. Now I would fight for my sister. I said to Rosa, "Tell me everything about that woman, your father, your house, your life. I will tell you about my family. Let's write it all down.
Oh.
We need to know everything. Then we'll switch our clothes in the bathroom." Rosa gave me an incredulous look. I winked at her. "Sis, can't you see? We'll switch our lives for a while. You'll go to my house, and I'll go to yours. We'll tell my parents everything after we teach that woman a lesson. They'll find a way." My sister began laughing. Even though she was terrified, she was really into the idea. 2 hours later, I was in front of Rosa's house wearing her clothes. I opened the door with her keys. I memorized the floor plan on my way there. The door that went down to the basement was right next to the bathroom. I heard her mother's voice as I was walking that way. "Rosa, why are you late? Didn't I tell you to come right home after you leave work?" I stopped. I walked towards the voice. I came to the living room. A woman was sitting on the couch, staring at the phone in her hand. I was hanging out with a friend. "By the way, keep in mind that from now on, I will come home whenever I want to." She lifted her head in disbelief. It was obvious that she had never heard anything like this from Rosa. "How dare you talk to me like that?" she said. Her puzzled expression was exactly what I wanted to see. "Whatever, I'm so tired, I'm taking a shower and going to bed early," I said. She was shocked. "Rosa, what are you, crazy? Showering? Going to bed? You have so much work to do. First, do the laundry, then go upstairs and clean the bedroom," she screamed. I didn't answer. I just smiled. I turned around and walked out. She kept screaming from where she was sitting. I was going to see my poor sister's bed in the basement. The basement had a terribly musty smell. I gagged a few times before I could get used to it. I sat on the bed. I held back my tears as I looked around. My poor sister was sleeping here. I was so relieved to think that at this moment she was in my house, probably in my room. My mom must have come to my room like she does every night and started telling her the office gossip as she played with her hair, and Rosa must be listening to her, giggling occasionally, just like I taught her to do. Suddenly, I felt something crashing into my feet. I pulled up my legs in fear. I was horrified when I saw what hit me. I could never in a million years guess a sewer rat could be that big. Wasn't this dangerous for my sister? How can a person sleep here? More importantly, how can these parents who have taken and raised this child from the time she was a baby allow her to sleep in such a horrible place? I still couldn't wrap my mind around it. After a while, the basement door opened. Someone started coming down the stairs. I saw that it was Rosa's father. When he saw me, he said, "Rosa, what did you say to your mom?" She was so angry that she got a headache. I jumped up. I walked up to him. He was a submissive character, as his wife was dominant. "Do you realize that you refer to her as my mother? If she was really my mother, would she allow me to sleep in this place?" I said. "What's wrong with this place?" he stuttered. "There are rats as big as cats," I screamed. "And you were covering your nose as you were coming down here. This is a basement. This place would make a person sick." The man turned back towards the stairs without saying anything. Just then, the basement door opened. This time, it was Rosa's stepmother who came in. Her husband said, "Something's up with her. She's complaining about the place she's been sleeping in for years." She slammed the door, saying, "Then let her stay here until she comes to her senses." After that, I heard the basement door getting locked. I didn't care. I could get that door open whenever I wanted. I took out my phone. I wrote, "Did you like my room?" and sent it to my sister. Rosa's answer took me by surprise. "Linda, we're coming to get you." It was supposed to be a surprise, but I had to tell you when I saw your text. They were coming to get me? But why? I was having so much fun here, and I wanted to have even more fun. When I wrote to Rosa, "Have my parents figured out you weren't me?" she immediately wrote back, "Your mother is very smart. I really played my part well, but still, she was suspicious. She wanted me to wear the dress you bought for the party. I put it on and went to her. When she saw me walking, she said, 'You're not Linda. You're way too comfortable in this dress. Linda would be complaining about it.' So I had to tell her everything. Half an hour later, the basement door opened. Rosa, my mom, and a woman I didn't know came down the stairs. They brought along someone from social services. Apparently, when an adopted child quits school, the Department of Social Services needs to be notified. Plus, the place where Rosa was sleeping and the way she had been treated were obviously not in compliance with adoption rules, in which case the child needed to be taken away. When Rosa's stepmother saw me and Rosa together, she got this blank look in her eyes, and when she figured it all out, she fainted. Her stepfather sat quietly in a corner without saying a word. When she came to, I brought Rosa over to her. I told her, "If there's anything you want to say, you should say it now." She looked at her stepmother. "My biggest mistake was being scared of you, but I'm not scared anymore. I just pity you," she said. Her stepmother said, "I'm sorry. I separated you. And this came back to our house as a curse. I deserved it." We were all shocked. When she admitted that, we knew how we were separated from each other. She and her husband knew we were twins. They only took Rosa because they wanted an only child. They bribed the social worker working their case to keep quiet. My parents came a few days later and adopted me without knowing I had a twin sister. So what happened next? Like I said earlier, the Department of Social Services removed Rosa from that family. The next day, my dad went to the department and asked to adopt Rosa. Because we were twins, that was what they wanted too. That night, Rosa and I were in my room. The next evening, my parents had their 25th anniversary party. Rosa attended the party in the dress I bought that day, and I wore a t-shirt and a pair of jeans just like I wanted. So Rosa was the prettiest girl that night, and this made me really happy, because my only goal in life from now on is to see a smile on my sister's face. Meanwhile, Rosa went back to school. We made a decision together. We are going to law school to become lawyer twins in the future.